What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we are going to be showcasing how to unlock the secret speedrun challenge for the Encore exotic mission. This will unlock a secret triumph for Encore and reward this absolutely awesome emblem. And so, let's get started. Now, this evidently went live with the weekly reset and week 3 of Encore being around. I was the fireteam leader and I had completed everything to do with Encore, so gotten all 3 of the exotic catalysts for my Choir of 1. If you're still looking to do that, definitely check out what you need to know for week 3, the secret chest and so on. That is linked right up above. However, none of that is necessary in what we're going to talk about. In fact, my 2 fireteam members, one of them had done none of the catalysts and one was on like just the first catalyst, so they were very far behind. Perhaps the fireteam leader needs to be caught up, but just letting you guys know you can drag your friends along for this challenge. So what you need to do is start the Encore mission on expert difficulty. That is super important, and you will need to end up beating it on expert. So that means make sure you have loadouts suited for that difficulty, and you are going to be facing barrier and overload champions. In any event, once you start this mission, you want to head over below the waterfall, and you can get there by heading to the left side of the cliff, kind of right in front of you when you spawn, as you can see in the background gameplay. Then once you get under the waterfall, there's really nowhere to go. However, there's a very interesting symbol located right here on the wall. It's actually the Whisper of the Worm symbol. So as you can see right here, nothing is open and none of us have the Whisper equipped. I put on the Whisper and the passageway actually opens in front of me. So that is how you're going to get into this kind of secret chamber. And from here, guys, then you can actually go through this portal. And what that is going to do is restart the mission, but with the speedrun challenge parameter. So again, you're teleported back to the start of the mission, and you now have 35 minutes to complete this mission on expert difficulty. So let's talk about some of the tips and the loadouts to get that done fast. In terms of weaponry, so first of all, I'm kind of crutching the Choir of 1, right? Like, if you have the Choir of 1, which is very likely, I mean, you're doing the secret speedrun challenge for Encore, you probably did it at least once on normal, this thing absolutely claps. Hipfire, I mean, we cheesed Riven with the hipfire mode, that should tell you something. So that's going to do a ton of damage, and then the precision mode is great for just normal enemies. For the eventual Tormentor boss, it's fantastic for that guy as well. Now, in terms of more like actual boss DPS, I was just using an Edge Transit with Envious Assassin plus Bait and Switch, and then on top of that, guys, I'm using this incredible Blast Furnace PvE God roll to round up my loadout, and that's going to deal with the champions. Blast Furnace for Pulse Rifle anti-barrier rounds, and remember the Choir of 1 being an auto rifle means that you can put on Overload auto rifle rounds, and there you go. Now your special can stun those Overload champions, which is awesome. However, guys, again, that's what I was using for the actual encounters. For the boss fight, in terms of actually getting through this mission quicker, I would highly recommend if you have a sword with the Eager Edge perk. It can massively boost your damage. It can let you, complete jumps that would take you normally quite a lot longer to complete. And just as you're running through the mission and all of the traversal sections, an Eager Edge sword is going to speed you up. Now, I did not do the entire first part of this mission with my Eager Edge sword to kind of prove a point, right? To see how close we were for time, and we still beat it with like 10 minutes on the clock, so you absolutely do not need the Eager Edge if you're not used to it. If you're someone who's gonna die more often because of the Eager Edge sword, maybe leave it in the vault. But aside from that, guys, when you get to this room here and you're able to turn off to the side and activate the Nexus room, don't. Remember, for this challenge, you don't have to do any extra stuff, right? You are just focused on the actual completion, and that actually makes a big difference. So In terms of some tips to make it faster, for this section here where you're planting those green modules, make sure to have one person plant, someone else is already ready to grab and activate that conflux, and as soon as they do, pick it up. Like, it takes a few seconds for the floor to despawn, so the person who activated the conflux has more than enough time to get away, and that's just going to make that section a bit quicker. Now, moving on from there, guys, not too long after, remember those planetary pistons? If you're worried about time, you can skip those entirely. They're totally optional, so just run on by as you can see. Now, for the first boss fight, you know, pretty much everything I told you when discussing my loadout comes true here. Definitely something like Twilight Arsenal is a great way to open up this fight. It's going to lower the entire third of the boss's health basically just on its own. When you're doing these boss fights, if you can have a Warlock joining you for these battles, for this mission, that's going to provide a great amount of healing, especially if you are running like the Speaker Sight Healer build. I'll link that right up above if you want to check that out, because that's just going to keep your entire team alive so easily. And as for some of the other builds, I was running my Titan Grenadier build because it's a fantastic build. Again, I'll link that right up above. As for Hunters, by far, if you want to use like Celestial Nighthawk, that is absolutely going to crank bosses. That's going to be good. But again, something like Tether for the weaken effect is a good idea as well. Now, continuing forward from there, guys, you have this massive section here, and this is all skippable, right? Like, you're going to have champions spawning, you're going to have bosses. You run past all of them, and you can see that in the background gameplay. The wyverns, it doesn't matter. Skip all of these enemies. You do not need to kill them if you're running low on time. Like, it's just completely optional to kill them. So once you're past there and you're gonna get to this end part here, you will have to kill the two bosses. So the floating harpy as well as the big cabal boss right here. But once both of those guys are dead, the portal is gonna open and everything else is gonna despawn. So if you just focus fire those two bosses, it's gonna be a lot quicker. Now, once you get to the portal, you're going to have to activate one of these exos, and you're gonna have to listen to some dialogue. And this is where something actually really weird happened. My dialogue, since I was the one who was like all caught up with the weekly stuff for Encore, I was done all of the dialogue super quickly. And then I'm just standing around because it turns out it has to do the dialogue for everyone's different mission. So the teammate who hadn't done anything, they were still on like the longest dialogue. So I literally had to wait around until their week 1 dialogue was complete for the door to open to the final boss. So just, you know, keep that in mind. If you're razor thin on time for whatever reason, that actually might make a difference. You might need to go through the normal section or whatever and progress the mission enough so you're on the final step so the dialogue goes a lot quicker, right? Anyways, moving on from there to the final boss fight. Basically, the one big tip for this section, guys, is right when you start DPSing the boss, like as you can see, you're going to get down to the boss's first chunk of health, and that is going to trigger the Vex death walls to spawn and divide the arena. But when that's happening, like as you can see, you can still damage this boss. So keep trucking with the DPS all the way down until you get to that last chunk of the boss's health. Then they're going to teleport away, you know, become immune. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you are able to achieve that DPS, it means you only have one more phase. So you're going to head through the portal, but be warned, there's a massive cabal like mini boss waiting for you on the other side. I do not remember this guy from any other mode, so that just might be this speedrun challenge mode, or this is the week 3 thing that we killed the guy so fast we didn't even notice him. But just be aware of that guy. Regardless, guys, again, if you're able to do the DPS, you just break the thing near the boss's shield and finish him off, and that's it. Otherwise, you will need to kind of trigger another boss DPS phase if you weren't able to DPS that much, which means you're going to need to kill the Minotaurs, grab the green modules to extend the platforms to stand on that red Vex circle again to unlock the ability to damage that boss to get his shields down. But then, guys, that's it. Like, you're gonna kill the boss, the mission's gonna end, and there you go. As long as you've done it within the 35 minutes, you have completed this secret triumph. So simply go and click on it, and you will get your awesome looking emblem. Guys, That is going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.